And welcome back to All Day Live. It is 12:33 on this Tuesday. A little overcast and kind of dreary out there, but we are celebrating on this Purple Tuesday after a big Vikings win, and we'll have much more on that coming up throughout the next couple of hours. But we wanted to talk a little bit about school lunch. I don't know if you remember it the way I remember it, but we didn't have much choice, and you got what you got, and you ate it. But what does school lunch look like these days? I guess the answer might depend on who you ask, right? If you've got a child, you might hear, well, it was okay, but I came home hungry, they wouldn't give me seconds, or maybe you're really lucky and they come home super excited and they rave about it. I had this awesome, free, nutritious meal. I had a piece of fruit and some veggies, and I ate it, and that would be awesome. We wanted to pull back the curtain just a little bit on school meals and just have some real talk about what's going on and what parents kind of need to know and how they can get more involved. So joining me now is Ashley Schneider. She's president-elect of the Minnesota School Nutrition Association, also director of Food and Nutrition Services for Moorhead Area Public Schools. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so schools, you and I had a chat earlier and I learned a lot. Schools that participate in the National School Lunch Program abide by these federal nutritional guidelines. We know those are put out at USDA, right? What are specifically some of those guidelines that parents should know about?
Yeah, absolutely. So any school district, whether they're public, charter, private, if they participate in the National School Lunch Program, they're federally funded, which means that we have a plethora of rules, regulations that we're required to follow. That includes things like average calories over the week, sodium, we're not allowed to have trans fats in our foods, different things like we're required to have what we call vegetable subgroups. So you think of the rainbow, and we have to menu orange and red vegetables so many times a week. These are things that as a parent, I'm not doing at home, but as a school district receiving federal funding, these are things that we are required to do to put on our menu so that your students have access to different fruits, vegetables, and nutritious, healthy items. So as we were talking, oops, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and as certified was another word that you used with me earlier that I thought was really interesting. That's one of the guidelines as well, right?
Yes, so our meat has to meet certain standards in order for us to be able to put it on. Same with our grains, they have to meet certain standards. So for example, we talked about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch that you buy at home for your students to eat. It's not the same Cinnamon Toast Crunch that we're serving in schools. Same thing like with chicken patty. Our chicken patty that we're serving, our breaded chicken patty, has whole grains on it. And unless it's bread, typically that's whole grains are not served in the home. So it is different taste palette, but it is the most nutritious meal that our kids can get in a day. We take all the thinking out of that while still pairing it with, of course, what students like and will eat.
And that is my next question, because when you talk about, reducing some of the sodium or the sugar or putting whole grain in there, it will change the flavor profile. And we're so used to eating pretty much whatever we want, and there's fast food and everything. So how do you guys strike that balance between what students will eat, what actually gets eaten, because you can serve it all day long, but are they actually eating it, and then also meeting these guidelines?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's nothing more delicious, and I'll even say it as a McDonald's fry with all of that salt and amazingness on it. And at home, we don't think about all the consumption of salt. We just take that salt shaker and pour it on our on our food and make it taste delicious. We're unable to do that because we have very strict guidelines in the nutrition world. So what we do is we use other spices that help us to flavor our foods. But it does taste different, and it takes a little bit for students to get used to it. But we oftentimes will see that after being through our school meals, they prefer the whole grains and the reduced sugars and different things like that we're required to offer them.
Yeah, and we talk about this because now obviously Minnesota has free meals at school, and you talk about the one hot meal that you can sort of guarantee is going to have a level of nutrition in it. And for a lot of kids that we've talked about, it may be their only meal of the day. I mean, this is a huge, there's I don't like it, and then there's I'm actually in a position where I'm food insecure. So thinking about the importance of that as well, I'm sure drives you guys.
100%. obviously everyone is in a job for a paycheck, but there's something special about school nutrition professionals. We do it because we love our students, and we want to feed them that good, nutritious food. And so we take pride in what we serve. And a lot of our school districts, because of these strict regulations, are moving to more scratch cooking or speed scratch cooking, as we like to call it, so that we do have control over those things. Plus, it's just a better product that we're serving our kids, and that's very important to us.
Yeah. One other thing that I wanted to jump back to, you mentioned the one of the parameters of the guidelines was average calories over the week, and I know, I've had a kid come home and say, yeah, I really needed 2 of those sandwiches today, but they wouldn't give us 2, and so I think that might be a question that parents have, is like sometimes there are limits on how much food too.
Absolutely. That's probably one of the biggest questions I field as a director is from parents is, the entrees aren't a big enough portion for their athlete or for their student. But because we are bound by these regulations, there is only so much that we are able to put on a tray. But most school districts offer, ours specifically, we offer a fresh fruit and vegetable bar that's complimentary with every meal. So on a daily basis, we have between 4 and 5 vegetables, 2 and 3 fruits available to students. So although I can't change the size of the pizza, I can't change the portion of chicken that they get, I can certainly put all the fruits and vegetables out in the world to get them to try things. Doesn't mean they will, but they're there for students, and so we allow them to, eat all of the variety of fruits and vegetables to help supplement for the fact that we can't control the size or the portion of the entree.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's some sort of guidelines around waste to how much food is being wasted. I can't imagine that just goes untracked. I mean, how do you guys track that, and then what do you do with that information?
Yes. So with our federal regulations, students are required to take, fruits and vegetables on their tray. It has to be on their tray in order for them to go past the cashier. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll eat it. So ways that we do, to try to do that. Number one, we're federally funded, so we have to take very precise notes on what we produce, what we sold, what is left over, what goes in the trash. And having this historical data allows us to then plan and forecast accordingly. We also too run a cycle menu, so every 6 weeks our menu rotates, and so then that is the same historical data. We also encourage our cooks to batch cook as much as possible. Number one, because it's delicious quality. Think of that pizza that was cooked off at 10 a.m. for that student at 2 p.m. That quality of pizza just isn't good anymore at that point. But also too, in batch cooking, it allows us to kind of keep a control on how much food is being produced so that we don't have excess amount left over. But that doesn't mean that food doesn't end up in the trash. Food ends up in the trash at home too. It's kind of how it happens, but we have processes in place to help mitigate that.
And really quickly, I just want to ask you about special diets, because there are a lot of families who have special dietary needs.
Yeah, special diets, picky eaters, we deal with it all. So if parents are, have questions regarding whether their parent or their student has a dietary restriction, we're used to that. Nothing like that is scary for us. That is our daily life that we feed all of our special diets. We feed multiple allergies on any given day, and so we're used to it. We specifically build plans or meal plans for those students. So don't let that be a reason why you would not participate with us. Picky eaters, we love them. We are used to them. We have them for 9 months out of the year, and we are stubborn mules. So we will take that time every day to get your kids to try new and different things. It's what's near and dear and passionate to us. I always say that we have our place in the educational institution as well, in that we're teaching kids about good eating practices, making choices for their body that are good for them, and where food comes from as well. So that's our place. in the educational institution.
For sure, and we all know what it's like to try to concentrate and focus when you're still hungry. That's why I have crackers sitting here, because it's just you have to have something in your stomach. So thank you, Ashley, for your time today and really helping us learn a little bit more about how this all works and making it more, I guess, approachable for parents. If they have questions, they should just contact the Ashley of their school or school district, nutrition, food and nutrition services, and just, don't be afraid to interact and ask questions. So
we're not so scary.
Yeah,
and
no,
we want to help. We want to feed your kids. So if you have questions about it, please reach out to us and let us know.
Okay.
And we'll figure out and get to the bottom of any challenges that come our way. And we don't cry over spilt milk, because we deal with spilt milk every day.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you again for your time. I know you've worked here in the Twin Cities and North Minneapolis, and now you're in Moorhead, and you've been in a lot of different types of school districts. So thank you for the work that you guys do. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right. Take care.